All right. Today, I want to look at what we're going to be doing in Module 5 of Buzz Language Arts, 5th grade. So I'm going to go ahead to the first lesson. Module 5, Lesson 1. Now, whatever lesson you're in, you should always be starting on the first page unless you've already made it a couple of pages in. You'll see a menu at the top. You can toggle the speech tool on and off. That's what toggle means. So that if you want to have it read to you, you can do that.
The Great Lakes. The Great Lakes make up the largest group of freshwater lakes in the world.
At this point, you should be taking your time and reading the page. It usually gives you a little bit of an introduction to the content that you're going to be using as you go throughout the module. This module is called Imagination. Okay, so that's the name of the whole thing. Consider that like a chapter. So it gives you some things to think about and your objectives. In the first lesson of Module 5, you're going to learn about adages and proverbs. Now, this is pretty fun. This is when you use words in a unique way, and it can be a lot of fun. So make sure that you go through the pages carefully, because if you don't, when you get to the quizzes, you might be a bit confused, okay? Then you're going to look at visual and multimedia, and you're going to ask yourself, all right, how do visuals and multimedia contribute to the meaning, tone, and beauty of a text? In other words, when you're reading or watching or listening, if there are pictures or videos, how does that contribute to that text? You're going to be talking about verbs, and particularly talking about verb tense. All right, in the last module, you should have talked about some verb tenses as well. And then throughout this module, you're going to be writing a multi-paragraph opinion essay. Listen carefully when I say this. You are not going to be writing this multi-paragraph opinion essay all at once and then done. You should be working on it and following the directions in the lessons. So as I go to the next page, word wisdom. Okay, it gives you something to read, and then look, it's talking to you about proverbs and adages. I move my mouse around to make sure that there isn't stuff I need to click on, but it looks like here I just need to read all of those parts. When I come to the bottom, it gives us a couple more common proverbs, but look, these I can click on, and it explains them. All right. So read it, think about, all good things come to an end. What does that mean? It's a proverb. Everything has an end, even good experiences. All right, easy enough, right? So, which of the ship proverbs do you like the best? Copy the phrase onto the lighthouse drawing you drew in your interactive notebook. Now, if you followed the directions on the first page, you would have drawn a picture of a lighthouse in your notebook or your journal. And then on this page, you're going to write down one of these proverbs. From there, you're going to move on to some reading. All right, it gives you some things to listen to. It's going to have you write down or talk to somebody around you in response to a question. All right. It's going to have a video here for you to watch. Make sure you click on it and watch it. As you go through each page, you must pay attention to all the details. Read. Make sure you understand what it is teaching you. Okay? So, listening to the story here, answering the questions there, and then check this out. There's a bright pink box with an arrow, which tells me I can open something, and it says Visuals and Multimedia Graphic Organizer. It tells me print a copy of the Visuals and Multimedia Graphic Organizer so that you can add to it when you read The Rescue in full. So, it tells us good readers organize their thinking using a graphic organizer. So this one is built so that you can look at the different elements like sound and text and pictures, and you can determine, well, how does that contribute to the text? So I'm going to click this. It's going to open it in a new tab. Okay, I'm going to open it in Cami. It uploaded it to my drive. And now I'm going to leave this here so that I can add more to it while I go back here in Buzz. And on the next page, I'm going to start reading and listening. Okay, so follow the directions. Here's the text. If you don't click on it, you're not going to read it. Okay, so in Module 5, Lesson 1, there's an audio soundscape. They want you to listen to that. I tell you in the instructions because it's going to contribute something to the text while you read it. So you hit play, that's playing, you're reading, and while you're reading, you're thinking about your graphic organizer. What does the sound in the background, how does that add to the text while you're reading it? What else? There's a little picture here. What does that give us? Right? Then it says finish filling that out. And it's going to give you one more thing to do here with this text, which is about accuracy, fluency, and expressions. And it actually tells you something about reading your text out loud. So look, in this lesson, you're going to use your copy to record yourself reading it. So if I separate the tabs and if I make the tab with the text a little bit smaller over here, and then I can make this one, I can start recording myself. If I can get back to it. So I can start recording myself while I read it. That is part of your assignment. So this is something you need to be doing, and you might have to make sure that you give your computer permission to use the microphone. So reading it out loud after you already read it once quietly is part of your assignment. Okay, it goes on. It talks about elements of multimedia. You're going to go through that, taking your time. And then here on page 7 is where it moves on to the writer's workshop. And it tells us,
Joaquim is juggling and watched the balls carefully. This sentence doesn't make sense. What is the problem? Answer.
So, Joaquim is juggling and watched the balls carefully. Now it's going to test if you paid attention to verb tenses, okay? And you're going to read this and take your time with this. So if at this point you've already spent an hour and you need to take a break, okay? Each lesson has a lot of parts to it, okay? Because it's not just about reading. It's not just about writing. It's about understanding language. So on page 8, it introduces what we're going to be doing, which is opinion writing. In the writing process, you've seen over and over again, you're going to use this process in this module to make an opinion writing. The brainstorming, the planning, the writing, the revising, the editing, the final draft. This is not all done at one time. So, informative and opinion essays. You just finished a whole module where you did an informative essay. There are going to be some similarities. You need a good introduction. You're going to need good body paragraphs. That includes evidence. You should always have topic sentences and closing sentences. Your introduction and conclusion are like the bread on your sandwich. You're going to start by stating your controlling idea, which in this case will be your opinion. In your body paragraphs, you prove it, and then you restate it at the end. You want to make sure that at the beginning and at the end, your readers know exactly what your opinion is. So there's a video to talk to you about it. And then it goes to explain what you're going to be writing about. Remember, you're going to be writing throughout the whole module. It's legendary. Your opinion essay will be based on a legendary character. To be legendary, a character must be remarkable in some way. Think of Robin Hood, Sherlock Holmes, or Frankenstein's monster. These are legendary characters in literature. They are notable, distinguished, and heroic. Here is your prompt. And I will also have this in Google Classroom, so if you forget and you don't remember to go back to your lessons, it will be right there. In the stories, Lost in the Woods and Buried in a Blizzard, the main characters persevered through a difficult time. In your opinion, which character from the two texts is the most legendary? Use evidence from both texts to support your opinion. So, it's very important. You're not doing all of this in the first lesson. You're going to start by writing down the prompt. Circle the verbs, underline the nouns. You do that to understand the prompt. So I might take and I'm going to copy this so that I have the writing prompt. I'm going to go to a brand new Google Doc. This is what you should be doing. I'm going to start a brand new Google Doc, and up here I'm going to title it Module 5 Writing. And now I copied my prompt and I'm going to paste. All right, I want to have my prompt someplace that I won't forget about it. So now it's in my Google Drive. So if I go back over here to Buzz, gives me some more information. To decide on your opinion, you will first need to print and read both texts. As you read the stories, highlight any details that show the actions of each character, paying special attention to any actions that might be considered legendary. Well, I don't want to print them out, so I'm going to open it in Kami. One at a time, right? Because here I can highlight text, or I can use the box to highlight things. So as I read, if I notice something that tells me that they're legendary, I can highlight that part of the text. Then, once I have read both of the texts, and I've opened them in Kami and I've highlighted, I'm going to decide which character is the most legendary. When you read through the stories using the text marking anchor, it is helpful to number the paragraphs. So the text marking anchor, this is something in the resources. Let's see. Nope. Well, maybe it is. Buried in a Blizzard, compare and contrast. Nope. Let's see here. Well, nope. Well, basically, it's telling you while you're reading the text, it is helpful to number the paragraphs, to highlight things, to make sure that you're focused on paying attention for what it is you're going to be looking for and what you're going to be writing about. So, once you've read them, you're going to brainstorm. You're going to decide, who do I think is the most legendary? And check this out. This is going to help you. It gives you questions to think about. Okay? Then you're going to decide. And then you're going to explain. Once you've decided, circle 2 or 3 reasons. So before you even go into anything else, make sure that you have some evidence from the texts that you know will be able to back up your opinion. Okay? Read the prompt one more time to make sure you know what it is you need to be answering. Okay? Then you're going to begin planning your controlling idea. They give you a sentence frame. Use it. Okay? In my opinion, blank is more legendary than blank because blank. So I'm copying it. I'm pasting it in my doc. This is how you're going to get started with Module 5